Well, I hope you can see the word file as well. And now today we are going to discuss about the imperialistic history writing in India. Yesterday we have discussed about the Orientalist history writing, and the Orientalist historian generally what they try to do is that they have studied ancient India particularly, and they have portrayed that ancient India was culturally, spiritually very highly developed. And that has somehow contributed to the increasing of the self-respect of the Indian people. Now, yesterday itself in that lecture, I told you that as the British Empire went on expanding, they discouraged the Orientalist history writing. Orientalist history writing को उन्होंने discourage किया and they encouraged the imperialistic history writing. And what are the generally imperialistic historian have tried to do in their writing is that they tried to demean the Indian culture and Indian tradition. They said that you were backward people, and it is the people who came from outside. They have given you some civilization, and you, as you were backward, you were fighting, you were caste-ridden society, and you were, always fighting with the people of the religion. And it is the East India Company that has given you a kind of civilization, that has given you kind of peace. And they also tried to project through the writing that the rule of British East India Company and later on after 1857 of the rule of the Crown is beneficial for the Indian people, and it is the Indian people who had voluntarily accepted, willingly accepted the rule of East India Company over the rule of the Indian native. And Indian natives were generally very cruel, very self-centered, addicted to sensual pleasure, and they were not taking good care of their citizens. So, this kind of general attitude that we find in their writing. There is a poem by Rudyard Kipling, a very famous author who wrote the famous book Jungle Book. There is a movie on Jungle Book as well. And this person, Rudyard Kipling, he also wrote a poem called White Man's Burden. And in that White Man's Burden, is there anybody from Hindi medium here today? Hindi medium से कोई है क्या? I don't see anybody.
Yes, sir.
है हिंदी मीडियम से, अच्छा है ना, ठीक है, ओके. हाँ, तो रुdyard किपलिंग ने जो एक कविता लिखी है व्हाइट मैन्स बर्डन, उस कविता में वो ये बताने की कोशिश करते हैं कि किस तरीके से white men, that is people of Europe, they are having white skin, they send their children to Asia and Africa not only to rule over these people but to civilize them, because these people are barbarian, backward. What he calls to the Asian and African people in his writing is that half child and half devil. They say that these people are childish as well as they are having some devilish mentality. And it is the responsibility of the advanced civilization, like the civilization of the Europe, to civilize them. So, that kind of attitude they have tried to percolate through their writing with the intention that their imperialism should be supported. The people who read this book, they should support their imperialism. So these are the general trend. These are the general, framework. These are the general ideas that they try to percolate. Let me just see if I have missed anything. Imperialists, they looked at Indian culture with contempt. It was necessary to justify the colonial rule. European Christian missionaries, they also supported this because obviously they wanted that the people should disregard and disrespect their own religion, Hinduism and Islam, and convert to Christianity. Well, then they also preach the philosophy of social Darwinism. If you remember, we have discussed about social Darwinism in the last semester when we were discussing about the classical Marxism. What is social Darwinism? Social Darwinism is that in a human civilization, in a human society, uh, it functions more or less like Darwinism, like an animal kingdom. Animal kingdom में क्या होता है कि हर कोई किसी और को मारकर जीता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, हिरन को अगर सर्वाइव करना है तो उसको पेड़ पौधों को खाना पड़ेगा. पेड़ पौधे हैज टू लिव देयर, गिव अप देयर लाइफ. बाघ या शेर को अगर जिंदा रहना है तो उसको हिरन को खाना पड़ेगा, तो शेर को अगर जिंदा रहना है तो डियर हैज टू डाई. So there is in animal kingdom everybody survives at the cost of others, and Marx says that the same thing is applicable to human civilization as well. Here also human being, they survive at the cost of other. किसी और का अधिकार या किसी और के हाथ से रिसोर्सेस हम लोग छीन लेते हैं और आगे बढ़ते हैं. तो ये एक एक्सेप्टेड फिलोसॉफी है. तो जो लोग भी ज्यादा संगठित होते हैं, ज्यादा क्लेवर होते हैं, टेक्नोलॉजिकली एडवांस होते हैं, वो हमेशा उन लोगों को पीछे छोड़ देते हैं जो कि टेक्नोलॉजिकली बैकवर्ड होते हैं और आपस में उनका संगठन नहीं होता है. तो ये फिलोसॉफी ऑफ सोशल डार्विनिज्म को भी उन्होंने प्रीच करने की कोशिश की कि भाई ये तो एक नेचुरल लॉ है कि इंग्लैंड जो है दैट इज मोर प्रोग्रेसिव कंट्री, मोर एडवांस कंट्री, टेक्नोलॉजिकली एडवांस है, ज्यादा यूनाइटेड है, and it is obvious that this country will dominate the technologically backward people like Indians, and Indians in addition to that being technologically backward also are divided among themselves. Then next is a principle of racial superiority. They believe that हमने आर्यन रेस के बारे में, ओरिएंटलिस्ट जो थे विलियम जोन्स, उन्होंने आर्यन रेस एक जगह पर थी, ये सब हमने पढ़ा है कल. The Aryan people, they came to India and they developed the civilization. So these people, imperialistic, through their writing, had also preached that the Aryan, जो कि यूरोप के लोगों के एंसेंटर्स थे और इंडिया में अपर कास्ट के लोगों के एंसेंटर्स थे, ये ज्यादा रैशियली सुपेरियर है. और ये रैशियल सुपेरियरिटी की संकल्पना को बाद में हिटलर ने बहुत आगे जिसको हम लोग कहते हैं ना, एक्सेप्ट किया और बहुत एक्सप्लोर किया, बहुत एक्सपांड किया कि नॉर्डिक आर्यन जो है वो दे आर द सुपीरियर रेस एंड दे हैव राइट टू रूल ओवर द वर्ल्ड एंड जूज आर टू बी किल्ड. एंड सर जो है, जो रशिया में, पोलैंड में रहते हैं, they are to be dominated and enslaved or killed. So the principle of racial superiority is being also percolated through the writing of the imperialistic historian. The imperialistic historian, they tried to preach that Indian people in ancient India had no good political system, social and political system India में अच्छे से develop नहीं हुई है. Indians had no feeling of unity. People were immoral. ये बात भी उन्होंने कही कि यहाँ पर moral values नहीं है. And there was a lot of superstitious, there was a lot of anarchy, and it was necessary that the Britishers should bring positive changes. The imperialistic also believed that Indian culture is static and degraded, and the hope of transformation of the Indian culture, Indian society, is through the ideas and knowledge that comes from the West, and that is to be imparted to the Indian people. And the Indian ruler के बारे में तो मैं बता चुका हूँ that Indian ruler were despotic, were selfish, and in contrast to this Indian ruler, they tried to also preach that the British officers were brave, capable, and patriotic as well. Well, the Britishers, they have a progressive industry. They were in need of colonies, and that is how they use the history as an instrument to justify their imperialism. Well, so the first important imperialistic historian that we are going to discuss now is James Mill. James Mill was born in Scotland in 1773, and he was a student of Christianity. But he did not like that much the study of Christianity, and then he goes to London, and there he was influenced by the utilitarian doctrine. And what is the meaning of utilitarian doctrine? Utilitarian doctrine is that doing maximum good for the maximum people. Everything has to be observed and understood through the perspective of the utilitarian. For example, this imperialistic historian, including James Mill, they believe that if the Indian people accept the British rule, slowly they will, the British institution like parliament and administration and all that will come to India, and that is better for the people of India. Going one step ahead, उन्होंने ये भी बताने की कोशिश की कि ब्रिटेन का जो रूल है वो अगर सारी दुनिया में हो जाए तो सारी दुनिया के लिए अच्छा है. Because Britain is having a very better developed parliamentary system, better administrative structure, better industries, the people are more organized. So British rules over the world is better for all the people. That is one of the dimension of the utilitarian philosophy. Utilitarian philosophy generally believes that Everything exists for the good of the people, and whatever is good for the people, only that should be accepted. So goodness or the betterness of the maximum people, that is what the utilitarian doctrine is in essentially. And this James Mill believed that by using this utilitarian doctrine, the British rule can be justified over the Indian people, because it is not only better for the Britain, it is better for the Indian people as well, because otherwise these people, they are divided on the line of religion, they were divided on the caste, they are backward, and here the rulers are oppressive. So it's better for the Indian people as well. So utilitarian means it is beneficial for both the parties, beneficial for everyone, Britain as well as to the Indian. Well, now James Mill, he joins East India Company as an assistant examiner of correspondence. So, all the correspondence document that was going and coming through him, and he got information about the company work in India, and this has increased his curiosity. And later on, he also read the work of Robert Orme and Pugnan, and also the work of certain missionaries. He did not like the work of the Orientalists like William Jones and James Prinsep. And on the other hand, he had a very low opinion about these people. He said these people are unnecessary showering praise over the Indian tradition or the Oriental tradition. And in 1806, he started writing History of British India without taking the help of contemporary work. And he published 3 volumes of this History of British India in 1818. And later on, after 8 years, he also added 2 more volumes. So 3 plus 2 did become 5. And later on, Horace Wilson, he added 2 more volumes. So 5 plus 2. So this is a volume, this is a book of 7 volumes. The last 2 volumes are added by Horace Wilson, and the first 5 volumes are written by James Mill. Now, this book, in which he makes a very detailed analysis of history of British India, has become very instantly popular in England, because here he justifies the rule of the British over the Indian people, and this has attracted attention of the political circle. In political circle, he became now very popular. He came to be known as a very good scholar, who had a very correct understanding of the British imperialism. That British imperialism is not bad for India. We are not gone there to exploit India, but we are gone there to for the betterment of the people of India. हम लोगों ने वहां पर जाकर अपना राज्य केवल इंग्लैंड की भलाई के लिए नहीं बनाया है। अगर इंग्लैंड का राज्य वहां बना है, लोग उसको स्वीकार करते हैं, तो दोनों के भलाई के लिए है, इंडियन लोगों के भलाई के लिए भी वो है, ऐसा उसका कहना था। वेल, एंड ये कंपनी में इनको नौकरी लग गई, सिन्हा कंपनी में। देयर ही गॉट रैपिड प्रमोशन, बिकॉज ही इज नाउ नोन टू बी अ पर्सन who can justify the British rule very very intellectually. और इसके बाद में ये जो किताब थी हिस्ट्री ऑफ ब्रिटिश इंडिया जेम्स मिल की, दिस हैज बिकेम अ काइंड ऑफ बाइबल फॉर द पीपल हु यूज्ड टू गेट देयर ट्रेनिंग फॉर इंडियन सिविल सर्विसेज. And this has played an important role in shaping the mind of the British civil servant in India. Now, whoever used to come to serve East India Company in India used to read this book, form their opinion about India, and then become part of that civil service or military service British machinery in India. तो ये किताब पढ़ने से उसका एटीट्यूड भी यही हो जाता था कि इंडियन लोगों को कुछ समझ है नहीं, मूर्ख है, दे डोंट अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज गुड फॉर देम, उनको अपने लिए क्या अच्छा है ये भी उनको नहीं समझ में आता, और ब्रिटिश रूल इज गुड फॉर देम. सो दैट इज द रीजन वी ऑलवेज फाइंड दैट दिस इंडियन सिविल सर्विसेज एंड अंडर ब्रिटिश एंड इंडियन मिलिटरी सर्विसेज, they did not really care for what the Indian thought. They thought that these people are backward. They don't understand what is good for them. It is what the British thought that is good for the Indian people. So this book, The History of British India by James Mill, has become very important in influencing the mind of the people who came to serve in India. इस किताब को पढ़ने से जेम्स मिल के क्या ओपिनियन थी इंडिया के बारे में, ये हम लोग देखेंगे अभी. He had contempt for ancient India, as that is a general idea, that is a general ideology that these imperialists have tried to percolate through their writing. And according to him, the people of ancient India were barbarian, and they were not intellectually developed, and so the social and political institute did not came into existence. Social morality and cultural development, it depend on education, judiciary and administration, which was non-existent in India. And as ancient India was not developed, the morality also was not developed. According to him, the people have slavish mentality. They were weak, unruly, immoral, and the ruler were very atrocious and self-centered. So, if the ruler were atrocious, the people were immoral. That is how James Smith has tried to portray the Indian society in his writings. And about Hindus, in comparison to Muslims, he had a very low opinion about Hindus. He said that Hindus are like eunuchs. They have slavish mentality. These Hindus are having. They are not having courage. And in comparison to the Hindus and Muslim, he treats Muslim as a better people. He says it is a Muslim who came to India. मुस्लिम लोग भारत में जब आए तो अपने साथ में कुछ सभ्यता ले आए. उसके पहले जो हिंदू थे यहाँ पर, ये तो बहुत ही बैकवर्ड लोग थे, बहुत ही बारबेरियन टाइप थे, इनकी कोई सभ्यता नहीं थी. That is the opinion that he carried, and it had definitely an adverse impact. The very adverse impact is that it created further division between the Hindus and Muslims. Secondly, he divides Indian history into the three parts. First part, ancient India, he called it as a Hindu period. Second part, he called it as a Muslim period, medieval India, Madhyakalin Bharat. And the modern India, he calls it as a British India, not Christian India, remember this. Because he believed that, the British people are quite matured. They don't want to impose their religion on anybody. But this categorization of the Indian history into the three parts has created, the kind of created an atmosphere of the communal interpretation of history. क्योंकि ancient India में देखिए हिंदू शब्द जो है ये प्रचलन में बहुत बाद में आया. The word Hindu is given to the Indian people by the Persian. That is, the people who are staying on the bank of the river Indus. And then later on, anybody beyond Indus came to be known as Hindu. लेकिन उसका प्रचलन नहीं था. हिंदू उस समय, जिनको आज हम लोग हिंदू बोलते हैं, भारत का जो मेजोरिटी पॉपुलेशन है, उस समय हिंदू अपने आप को हिंदू नहीं बोलते थे. इट वाज अ डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ रिलीजियस ट्रेडिशन, ऑल मिक्स्ड अप. कोई वैष्णव था, कोई वेदांती था, कोई शैव था, all those kind of stuff. It is like Hinduism is called as a jungle where there is a lot of varieties. But it is under this colonial rule and under the influence of the people like James Mill that anybody who is not Muslim came to be branded as Hindu. So उस पीरियड को, जिस समय हिंदू शब्द था ही नहीं, उस पीरियड को हिंदू पीरियड कहना कितना उचित रहेगा, that is a big question, because that gives you a feeling that there were Hindus, and in fact there were different kind of people having a variety of religious practices. मध्यकाल को मुस्लिम पीरियड कहना भी उचित होगा या नहीं, that is also a big question, because though Delhi was ruled by Sultan and Mughal later on who were Muslim, and Islam religion spread very rapidly in India, no doubt about it, but nevertheless Vijayanagara Empire was there during the medieval period, ruled by a Hindu. Gajapati, king of Orissa, the Hindu ruler. Later on, the Marathas, they established their kingdom. You will be studying Maratha history in third and fourth semester. Almost to the, if not the whole of India, but to the very greater part of India, starting from south to right up to Punjab. And even though the ruler were Muslim during the medieval period, the majority of the population in India, they continued to be Hindu. So can you call it a Muslim period? Again, that is a big question mark. But that kind of interpretation, it suited the Britishers because they wanted to keep Hindus and Muslims divided. There were division, no doubt, there were disagreement, there were conflicts, but that conflict became intellectualized and more intensified because of this kind of writing. इस तरीके के लिखान से हिंदू और मुसलमानों के बीच में जो दूरियां थी और ज्यादा बढ़ने लगी. He supported the British rule obviously. और जो ब्रिटिश कुछ लोग थे जो कि ब्रिटिश कॉलोनीज के खिलाफ थे, वो कहते थे कि ये ब्रिटिशों की जो नीति है भारत में, ये अच्छी नीति नहीं है. तो उसके खिलाफ भी कुछ लोगों ने अपनी आवाजें उठाई थी, एंड ही वाज क्रिटिकल ऑफ दोस काइंड ऑफ पीपल, एंड ही बिलीव्ड दैट the policies of the British government should be based on the principle of utilitarian usefulness. The rules or regulation that are not useful should be abolished, and the British should establish a new system with the help of education and administration. He highlighted the contradiction between developed England and underdeveloped India, and also he divided, this I already told you, division of history into the Hindu, Muslim, and British period. In 1848, as I have already told you, Horace Wilson has added 2 more volumes to this book, History of British India by James Mill. उसने जेम्स मिल ने 5 वॉल्यूम लिखे थे, 5 खंड लिखे थे, और 2 खंड जो है हॉरेस विल्सन ने लिखे. एंड हॉरेस विल्सन इन हिज राइटिंग व्हिच इज 6 and 7 volume of that book, he is critical at places with the writing of the James Mill. He says that James Mill ने जो अपने hypothesis रखे, James Mill ने जो अपनी बातें रखी है, and James Mill had tried to prove that the Muslims were better than the Hindus. He says that that is a wrong. This is not a right interpretation of history. And he proved Mill wrong at number of places. And James Mill had nothing but contempt for ancient India, treating and portraying ancient India as the barbarian. The people of ancient India were barbarian and had no civilization. And Horace Wilson said that it's not right. In ancient India also, India was quite developed. Similarly, apart from that, there were certain British administrators also, like Colebrook and John Shore, who were, quite opposed to this idea of James Mill, that India, ancient India was backward. But nevertheless, the policy of East India Company in India, it continued to be governed by the ideas percolated and preached in the book History of British India by James Mill. And they continue to treat that the Britain is superior, Indians are inferior, and that has resulted into the creating division between the England, British people and the Indian people, resulting into the event like revolt of 1857. But nevertheless, the Britishers, they still could not learn the lesson, and the division between the being rule and rule, it continued. James Mill, from the historian's perspective, there are certain lacunas and shortcomings in his writing. For example, James Mill had reached his conclusion before he started his work, and he made a very selective use of evidences. Like he already formed certain ideas, and he will pick up certain evidences to support his ideas only. For example, if I have to just I am predetermined that I'll prove that Rohan Barve is not a regular student. So whenever he comes to the class, I will just ignore him. And the day when he is absent from the class, I will just point out that you are a very irregular student. You are not joining the class. So, what I am doing is I have a deliberate intention to prove that Rohani is not a good student. And this is what James Mill has done in his writing. He had a predetermined idea that he will prove that Indians were backward people. And in order to support his thesis, he only looked for the selective evidences. And that is not an objective way of writing history, as we have already studied what is objectivity. Well, so but nevertheless, his work is definitely important because it gives us a lot of information, very voluminous, 5 volumes, and we get a lot of information, and it provokes nationalistic writing. That is another advantage of his writing, because see, constantly, if Rohan, if he's very regular, even if he's very regular, one day he doesn't come to the class, and next day, I will just go on pointing out, Rohan, you did not come to the class, you are very irregular, yeah, and all that kind of thing. If I just go on saying, he will definitely stand up after a certain time and will ask me, वो मुझे जरूर बोलेगा कि सर मैंने इतने क्लास किए हैं, वो आपको नहीं दिखाई देते, और मैं एक दिन क्लास में नहीं आया तो आप बार बार मुझे पॉइंट आउट कर रहे हो. It is a quite normal reaction that will happen with anybody. If I just point out a certain fault in you, you will one day stand up and say, I am good at this also. Don't just look at my mistake. Don't just look at my faults. And that is what happens with the Indian people. When this imperialistic historian like James Mill, when they constantly pointed out something is, something is terribly wrong in the Indian system or the Indian cultural tradition, the people reacted. Indian people, when they started earning their education, जब उन्होंने पढ़ाई शुरू की, and they reacted by writing the history called, which is generally known as the nationalistic history, where they definitely try to highlight certain good things achieved by the Indian people. So this was the one of the reaction of the Indian people to the writing of James Mill. Well, now, in case you have any doubt about James Mill, you can put in the chat box. Now I'll go to the next important imperialistic historian. You have only 2 important imperialistic historian in our syllabus. Next is William Hunter. सो ये 20 सेंचुरी के लास्ट 20 सेंचुरी एंड 19th सेंचुरी के एक इम्पोर्टेंट हिस्टोरियन थे। एंड इनकी जो किताब है एनल्स ऑफ रूरल बंगाल विच केम इन 1868, एंड देन हिज नेक्स्ट बुक इज इंडियन मुसलमान which came in 1876, and this annals of rural Bengal, इसका एक important बात इसकी ये है, the very important contribution of this book is that it has shifted the focus from the ruler to the society and economy. इसके पहले जो भी इतिहास लेखन हुआ करता था, आमतौर पर उसका फोकस रूलर्स के ऊपर होता था कि कॉर्नवालिस ने क्या किया एंड वॉरेन हेस्टिंग ने क्या किया वगैरह वगैरह। लेकिन इन्होंने रूरल बंगाल का अध्ययन करके वहां पर इकोनॉमी और सोसाइटी किस तरीके से थी एंड हाउ इट हैज चेंज अंडर द ब्रिटिश। ऑब्वियसली ये एक इंपेरियलिस्टिक हिस्टोरियन थे, तो इनकी आइडिया वही रही है, उसी तरीके का लिखान हमें मिलता है कि ब्रिटिशों के आने से पहले यहाँ पर कंडीशन बहुत खराब थी, एंड इट इज विद द कमिंग ऑफ द ब्रिटिशर्स दैट द इकोनॉमिक कंडीशन ऑफ द पीपल हैव स्टार्टेड इंप्रूविंग। दिस बुक जो है इंडियन मुस्लिम, ये एक बहुत अनयूजुअल इंसाइट देता है इन द माइंड ऑफ द मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी, एंड हियर आल्सो ही गिव्स अ फेवरेबल ट्रीटमेंट to the Muslim people that Muslims are better than the Hindus. So this is in line with the policy of divide and rule that the Britishers have followed in India consistently. Then Rulers of India एक सीरीज बनी थी जिसमें भारतीय रूलर जो ब्रिटिश रूलर थे डिफरेंट गवर्नर जनरल उनके बारे में जानकारी लिखी थी। तो ही वाज एडिटर ऑफ द रूलर्स ऑफ इंडिया। देन ही आल्सो वाज द इम्पोर्टेंट पर्सन हु वाज इंस्ट्रूमेंटल इन पब्लिशिंग इंपीरियल गैजेटर। ब्रिटिश जब यहाँ पर आए तो उन्होंने गैजेटर पब्लिश करने का ट्रेडिशन शुरू किया, व्हिच यूज्ड टू बी हैविंग अ लॉट ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन। ब्रिटिश गैजेटर्स आर स्टिल अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट सोर्स ऑफ राइटिंग हिस्ट्री ऑफ द कॉलोनियल पीरियड। So Imperial Gazetteer also he started under his observation. The Imperial Gazetteer also started being published. The rulers of India, in the rulers of India, he gives description of the 28 people, which included Robert Clive and Warren Hastings. And here he described how these people, with their hard work and with their sacrifice, they laid the foundation of the British rule in India. And he also wrote the book. The title is same as the book of the James Mill, that is History of British India. And when he was about to complete the second volume, he dies. He did not complete this writing of the book. Annals of Rural Bengal, as I told you, it is a fresh interpretation. Earlier to that, the history was written mostly as biographies of the governors, and he aimed at depicting the historical growth of the people of Bengal and tracing the early effects of the British rule on society. And then he described the anarchy of, there was an anarchy situation in Bengal before the coming of the British, and how the British had brought the good governance. And he also tries to explain through his writing that why India has not developed strong nationality like Europe, and due to this defect that India could not develop the strong nationality because it is having such a diverse population, diverse religion, diverse religious practices, diverse language, and it is because as the Indian people has not developed the sense of nationalism that they fell prey to the foreign invasion. And in contrast, the European countries, they have a very strong sense of nationalism. And it's because of this lack of nationalism that they were conquered by the Muslims first during the medieval period and by the European later on. Then he makes an analysis of the institution of the caste, and he said that this caste system has originated because the Aryan who conquered the Aborigine, the pre-Aryan people, has refused to mingle with them. ये अलग रह आर्यों ने अपने आप को अलग रखने की कोशिश की, लेकिन एट द सेम टाइम इंटरमिंगलिंग तो कुछ हुआ, जो इंटर रेस मैरिजेस भी हुए, and in that the Aryan and Aborigine had led to the growth of the mixed caste. And Aryan they refused to mix with the lower caste people, and this has prevented the growth of common nationality. इसके बाद में ये कास्ट सिस्टम ने किस तरीके से हमारे सोसाइटी को, मतलब भारतीय लोगों के सोसाइटी को हार्म किया, इसका भी ये बहुत अच्छा एनालिसिस करते हैं। ये कहते हैं कि अपर कास्ट के लोग जो थे they have shifted all their manual labor on the lower caste. वो खुद कुछ काम नहीं करते थे, घर में आराम से रहते थे, और इसका परिणाम ये हुआ कि वो फिजिकली वीक होते चले गए. And that is the reason when the foreign invasion came, they could not meet them, or they could not resist them. That was the good analysis. देखिए, imperialistic historian ने जो बातें कही, obviously they had an attitude of contempt towards the Indian people, but all that they said is not wrong. There is a definitely a good food for thought, which should make us, to think where our ancestors have gone wrong, and they were repeatedly defeated and enslaved finally. Well, and ये जो इंडिया में जो डाइवर्सिटी थी, which has prevented Indian from developing the sense of nationalism, ये जो barriers थे, racial, caste and social barrier, physical barrier, all these barriers are being slowly broken down by the Britishers, and it is the Britishers who will give the sense of Indian nationalism to the Indian people. ये माना भी जाता है, of course this is controversial, लेकिन कई लोग इस बात को मानते हैं कि ब्रिटिशों के आने से पहले भारत के लोगों में जो एक नेशनलिज्म की भावना जो थी वो बहुत कम थी. मराठेज अपने आप को अलग मानते थे, राजपूत अपने आप को अलग मानते थे, दक्षिण भारत के लोग अपने आप को अलग मानते थे, पंजाब के लोगों का अलग राज्य था. लेकिन ये सारे बैरियर जो थे वो ब्रिटिशों ने तोड़ दिए धीरे धीरे. एंड देन इट इज इंडिया as a nation, it begin to came into existence under the rule of the British. That is what he tries to do. Then he says that कि जो भारत के ऊपर ब्रिटिशों का जो रूल हुआ, it is not just some kind of accident. It is in the logic of history that the people who are more developed, they will go and develop the barbarian and the underdeveloped people. First they will conquer them, and then there will be a gradual development. That is what he tries to do. And he, in his writing, again, like he projects British as adventurous, masterful. They were quite patient, and they were quite persistent. And it is the Great Britain who will lead India to the modern world with paternal authoritarian hand. Like a father who takes the hand of the child and takes him towards progress, or teaches him. Similarly, England will lead India towards progress. That is what he tries to project through his writing. So if you have to take the overview of the imperialistic historiography in India, so they generally portrayed India as a static, unchanging society. They divided Indian history into the Hindu, Muslim, and British period. So first two division is based on the communal religious line, and they try to justify the British rule as if the British rule is beneficial for the Indian people. So this is where the imperialistic historian ends. If you have any doubt, you can ask me now.